Good morning. It's a lovely sunny day here in Argyll, and it's the beginning of the Easter holidays. I hope you're well. I'm feeling very well. I broke up yesterday, had a really lovely week at work, lots of highs, lots of lows, but actually ended on a good note. Felt that I'd got a lot of things done, a lot of kind of boring things that needed to be done, paperwork, but also a lot of really important things, building relationships with pupils, building relationships with families, building relationships with colleagues. I love Easter, actually. I think it's my favourite holiday. I always know at this time of year I have this sort of sense of spring and newness and excitement. I am really, really tired, and I was worried. I said yesterday to my husband, I'm on this euphoric end of term Friday, and what happens tomorrow when I crash? And he just said, think it through and don't. So that's what I've done. We're going away tomorrow. Fingers crossed, we're going to see my mum and dad and my lovely family in England, as long as COVID doesn't get in the way again, like it did at Christmas. I'm a better person at this time of year. I think back to Christmas and short days and darkness, and winter's not the best for me, but this time of year I'm feeling excited by a lot of things, excited to be kind of looking for jobs, and thinking that I do love where I am, and I'm really enjoying it, but there are lots of things about it that aren't quite right for various reasons. So I am exploring options, looking at what's out there, looking at what I can afford to have in terms of and the salary. And it is exciting, so that's that. Health-wise, ADHD-wise, I'm tired. I've lost quite a lot of weight, which I'm kind of a bit intrigued about. As always, I'm secretly excited by that, which isn't healthy or positive. So I need to look at that and look at what that's all about again. Have been walking and doing a lot of making sure that I'm healthily keeping active to manage my ADHD symptoms. Head-wise, reading a book at the moment on focus, which, not reading it, I'm listening to it on my audio as an audio book. Can't even remember what it's called because that's what I do. I'm going to tell you what it's called just in case you're interested, because it's really, really interesting. Hey, get that? I'm reading another book which I think is going to change my entire life. I know it's not going to change my entire life, but it is interesting. It's called Hyperfocus: How to Work Less and Achieve More by Chris Bailey. I think it was recommended to me when I bought the book about women and ADHD. I think it came as one of those, you might find this interesting. I'm not sure if Chris Bailey has ADHD. He mentions it in the book, but it's really interesting, and a lot of other people I think have looked at similar ideas. In fact, it came up on the manager training that I'm doing when I did a module on time management, the idea of focus and prioritising. But for me, for a day like today, where I've got this sort of unstructured time which normally makes me panic, it's kind of given me some ideas, which, although it is about work, for me, having ADHD, sort of every day is a work day, not just because it's hard work for me to manage my time. So in a way, work days are easier because they're very structured, and you kind of you don't have to make a lot of decisions on a work day in a school. It's the unstructured times, and how am I going to fill a Saturday when I've got 6 million things to do. But he talks about prioritising. He talks about the sort of impact of the things that you're doing. So, and that's really important for me, because with ADHD, I think I've said this before, I can sometimes have days where it feels as if the amount of dog hair in the house is just as important as a high-level piece of work that I've got to do on something really important for the well-paid job that I'm in. And the danger of that is obviously that you get distracted by the dog hair and you don't do the important thing. And on the whole, I don't do that, actually. I never do that. But I am good at instinctively knowing, you know, the things. But the problem with teaching and being a senior manager in a school and having a lot of work around risk and high risk things and a lot of responsibilities is that there are a lot of things that are actually really important and high risk. And the danger then for me is that I find it hard to switch off, and then those things are in my head all the time, and you know, at 4 a.m. or at weekends or whatever. But I suppose it's just about being honest and saying, okay, I've got actually 10 things that are really, really important at the moment, but I can't be doing them all the time, because if I do, I'm going to get exhausted and I'm going to burn out and I need to rest. And I think that's been a massive learning point for me, is because actually, you know, for a number of years I've had important, responsible jobs, but maybe at 35 or 40, with the energy I had, I could kind of do them, whereas now I can still do, but I just get exhausted, and at 52 I need to just be really honest about that, and look at the way that I'm working. But his book's brilliant because it says you can be much more efficient in much less time by really looking and prioritising, and that's really resonated with me. So yeah, that's something worth looking into and thinking about, and that's what I'm doing today. And he talks about 3 things each day that you know are really important, and then not being hijacked by other things that might be other people's agendas. And again, all this is familiar from work that I've done previously, but I've just heard it again recently. So I'm going to approach my holiday with that in mind. And so today the 3 things are: I've got to pack because we're going away tomorrow. I've got to write a job application because there's a deadline looming. And I thought I was going to see a friend, but I'm not going to do that now. And so the 3rd is to make time for my husband and my son, and not just prioritising everything else over those things. Oh, and I do have to cut my husband's hair. I don't have to do that, but I kind of think I should. So yeah, then I get into this thing of like, is it important? Who's it important for? Is it important for me? Is it important for him? But I suppose I just need to ask him, do you want your haircut today? Because it's his hair, isn't it? There we go. And yesterday I got a really, really, really nice email from someone, just saying that, totally unexpected and out of the blue, just saying something really nice about me. And just things like that make such a difference. And I think I read something today about Simon Mayo having left the BBC, and just this awful thing that he's gone. And obviously there's culture and politics, and a lot of people are writing in the Twitter feed about, you know, that's what makes the culture of an organisation is the little things. And I think, and somebody wrote that they're always the person that does the little things and then other people don't do it back, you know. And I thought that email that I got yesterday, I do quite a lot of that, I think, to other people, and I think if more of us did that, then the world would be a nicer place. Because actually, you know, I suppose my superpower is that I just see the best in people and I want to tell them, and I know that over the last week, people say things about people, and I'll just think, oh my God, I've seen them in a completely different way to you. Why have you judged them and seen them in that way? Why do you feel so negative or angry about them? Whereas I genuinely do just see the best in people, and I know that doesn't stop me from feeling irritated or upset with people or frustrated by people, actually, you know, but then I step back and think, yeah, I'm frustrated because of that, whereas actually there's still that lovely person inside, and those positive qualities. There are a couple of people at the moment that I'm struggling to see the positive qualities in, and I keep coming back to that and trying to work out why that is. But I think sometimes we just have to hold up our hands and say there are some people who, for whatever reasons and whatever's happened to them in the past, they're not functioning in a way that they should have influence over the lives of others. And I feel quite firmly and strongly about that. And that's something I've come to discover, is you shouldn't forgive everyone for everything all the time. If they just repeatedly are hurting other people, then that's not okay. And just to end on the thing about, you know, Will Smith and him hitting someone, and I think I've thought long and hard about that. And yes, he was traumatised. Yes, he had a father that beat him. Yes, he's written his book. But yes, he's very wealthy, and why, you know, I hope he's had a lot of therapy, and I hope he's done the work. And I think what I'd like is for him to step up and say that, because actually, as a role model to others, you know, there comes a time, doesn't there, where if you have that privilege, and you have that money to access support, and you haven't done it, then I suppose there needs to be some questioning around why. And, you know, I'm also aware that I'm very privileged. I have a salary where I can access therapy, where, you know, me rocking up and going, oh, I'm sad again, or this and that. I think it's important to acknowledge when we're sad. It's important to acknowledge our emotions. If someone turned around and told me that I was damaging and hurting other people, you know, then I think that's when I need to go back, have more therapy, look at myself, and do some work on myself. Because actually there's a lot of people that don't have that luxury and that privilege. And just then to properly finish, that's why I think education is really important, and that's why, you know, every day in a classroom with children, I talk to them about managing themselves, managing their emotions, regulating, being a good person. Because the bottom line is that's what matters, and the things we're seeing in the news at the moment are all about people who perhaps haven't got that self-awareness about themselves and are making decisions that are hurting other people. Yeah, there we go. That's me. Have a lovely Easter. Eat lots of chocolate, and yeah, just have fun. Listen to. Yesterday I played the Easter Bunny song in German to my class, and it's an absolute banger. And every year I play it, and I just get a sense of joy. And Easter is a really joyful time for me, so I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to enjoy it, and look forward to catching up with you. And stay well, stay safe, be happy if you can. Find the things that bring you joy and excitement. Embrace the sunshine, embrace the spring. Yeah, and I'll probably make a video next week, and we've still got 2 weeks to go before Easter, but we've got 2 weeks of Easterness, so that's good. Okay, bye for now.